big man he works for, that bold Asian dude in orange robes, Jesus' dad, Emperor Haile Selassie, my granddad's voodoo sculpture, Morgan Freeman, or that metal slab on the moon in the olden day film 2001. So to be safe, I prayed to the whole team. Dear Holy Avengers, I pleaded into my interlaced fingers. First off, please forgive me for being a prick on Monday and for lying to Mum about what happened. Monday, 4 days ago. Before Monday went off the rails, I actually learned something in class. Was that how school was meant to feel all the time? Penny Hill Secondary sat on the border between Peckham and Brixton. That wasn't an issue in the 40s when they built it, but became one once the Mandem arrived. Now you had kids from two rival ends forced to spend 7 hours a day with each other, and the rest of us expected to learn with that in the background. Our classroom was arranged in 4 rows of 8 desks. The ceiling hung a foot too low, making you feel like a chicken in a battery cage if you sat near the middle, like me. Miss Purdy was head of PE and doubled as a maths teacher. She could teach, though, as in, she actually knew what she was talking about and actually gave a shit. Her class had the fewest fights and highest marks because of it. Even my assignments were coming back with the odd B these days. Maths had always held some appeal with me. The naive part of me clung to the idea that one day I'd have a boatload of money and maths would have helped me get it. I'd always just respected the fact that 2 + 2 = 4. I spent most days switching between my African home voice, my semi-roadman voice, my reading out loud in English lit class voice, and the telephone voice I put on when I needed BT to send someone round to come fix the router. I liked that all that stuff mattered less in maths class. The teacher could think I was a dickhead all she wanted, but 2 + 2 was still going to equal 4. What I couldn't have known, sitting there that Monday morning, was that the 3-sided shapes Miss Purdy was drawing on the whiteboard would end up opening my eyes to all 4 dimensions. In fact, if anyone had tried to warn me I'd be moving like a superhero psychic by the end of the week, I'd have told them they were on crack, then shown them the abandoned flat in Lewisham where they could meet some like-minded people. Today we're revising Pythagoras' theorem. Purdy said circling an equation she'd just written on the board, and we'll be using it to figure out the length of the longest side of the triangle. A² + B² = C². Purdy waited, arms folded, for the class to quiet down. Shh, Nadia said, whipping her neck round to glare at the 2 girls chatting behind her. Nadia wasn't a teacher's pet by any stretch, and she didn't always care that much about class. But we had our GCSE mocks coming up, and she clearly wasn't about to get dragged down by kids who didn't care at all. Meanwhile, I was staring off in the distance, doing the pouted lip, serious stare I'd practiced in the mirror that morning. Nadia's eyes had to swing past me on their way back to the whiteboard, and I wanted to leave the best impression possible. No cap, it was straight up embarrassing how often I did stuff like that for her. I probably spent 60 to 70% of each class either A, staring creepily at the back of her head, B, glancing at her in my periphery, or C, pouting and hoping she'd pay attention to me, which I'd never got to confirm either way since I'd always be staring off into the distance like an aftershave model. Purdy turned to the board with 2 different colored markers in hand. To make this feel a bit real, I'll use a practical example. Let's say you're walking through Burgess Park. You start all the way down here at the South Gate and need to get up to the top by Old Kent Road. There are basically 2 different paths you can take. The first path, up the side and along the top, is what you cool kids might call a long ting. She waited for someone to laugh. Anyone. After a long, cold dose of silence, she moved on. Tough Monday,